Happy Friday, guys! Kitty Badger and I are here to wish you another end to the week. It's week 6, well, the end of week 6, and she wanted to show off her cute little bandana. Look at that. Yeah. Hey, scholars, happy Friday. Welcome to another review. Today's review is going to be on rounding, and it is definitely going to be really quick. So this work today should truly not take us more than 30 minutes. It's probably the quickest assignment we will have all week. I noticed on yesterday's quiz, the one question that we got tricked on the most was the question that asked us to round a number and then type in that number into a blank space. So for our guided practice today, we're going to go ahead and practice some of those questions. Have your pen, paper, pencil, crayon, marker, whatever you are writing with, ready to go. All right, here we go. All right, question number 1 says, what is 57,645 rounded to the nearest thousand? That number again is 57,645. Say that number 2 times to yourself. How many times? That's right, 2 times. Great. 57,645. It's asking us to round to the nearest thousand. What digit represents the thousands place? Awesome. It's the 7. So when we set up our number line, the value that we're going to label in the beginning is 57,000. The value that we're going to label at the end is going to be the next 1,000 when we start from 57,000. Awesome. That would be 58,000. Now we need to find the value that's in the middle. What value is in the middle of 57,000 and 58,000? This is a little tricky. The value that's in the middle is 57,500. Now go ahead and label where 57,645 belong on the number line. Well, 57,645 is after 57,500. And I actually think it goes about right here. So 57,645 is closest to which thousand? On our number line, it is closest to 58,000. So 57,645 rounded to the nearest thousand is 58,000. Let's go ahead and type in that answer in the blank space. It's probably a good idea that we type in the comma as well. So 58, comma, 1,000 with 3 zeros. Okay, question number 2 says, what is 57,645 rounded to the nearest 10,000? Is that the same value as the last question? No. The question is asking us to round it to the nearest 10,000. Well, is 10,000 less than or greater than 1,000? It's It's greater. So since it's greater, it's not going to be the same digit that we rounded in the last question. So our number is still the same. However, we are now rounding to a different value. And this value is 10,000. The value is, that's right, 10,000. So this was on one of your questions for your independent practice. It had asked you, one, what does rounding mean? And what is one of the first steps that you need to think about? Well, one of the first steps that we need to think about is what value we are rounding to. So we have the same number, but this time we have a different value. We have a great different value. So what digit represents the 10,000s place in this number? Well, if in the previous question 7 represents 1,000, and we know that 10,000 is greater, well, the next digit to the left is what represents our 10,000s place. So go ahead and set up your number line. And then let's think about what we're labeling in the beginning. So since this value is now 10,000, are we going to label the beginning like we did in the previous question at 57,000? No, we're only trying to find the 10,000s. So in the beginning, we will label 50,000. And the value that we're going to label at the end is the next 10,000. So when we're counting by 10,000s, what would be the next 10,000 after 50? You guessed it, 60,000. Well, what's in the middle of 50,000 and 60,000? This is a little bit easier than the other one because we have to think about what's in the middle of 50 and 60. Well, what's in the middle of 50 and 60 is 55. But since we're talking about thousands, we need to make sure we properly write it in the thousands. Go ahead and label 57,645 on your number line. Is it before 55,000 or is it after 55,000? Well, 57,645 is after, and I think it's about right here, 55,000. So which of these 10,000s is it closest to? Great. As you can see, it is closest to 60,000. So now when we write our complete sentence, 57,645 rounded to the nearest, and what's that nearest value? That's right, 10,000. So to the nearest 10,000 is 60,000. Go ahead and type 60,000 also in the blank space as well. So again, include the comma and the 3 zeros at the end. So 60, comma, 1, 2, 3. Whoops, there we go. Awesome. Go ahead and read question number 3 to yourself. This one has a number that's a little bit bigger. However, we're still going to keep our rounding practice today to the thousands and the 10,000s. So annotate the question and go ahead and set up your number line. Awesome. Look, and I totally updated my cursor. Got Shrek. Okay. Question number 3 is, what is 847,137 rounded to the nearest thousand? So I made the same annotation that we made in the previous question, which is, what is the number and what value are we rounding to? So again, this number is 847,137. Say that number to yourself 2 times or even 3 times to help remind you how to say that number correctly. Go ahead and go. Great. As the numbers get bigger, they are definitely a little bit more tricky to say correctly, so we're just gonna keep practice. So 847,137. We're rounding to the nearest thousand. So what digit represents the thousands place? Great, the 7. And it's the 7 next to the 4. So when we set up our number line, we have to keep all of the values from the hundreds, thousands, and the 10,000s place, and then we simply write down the 1,000, and then we don't include the rest of the numbers. So what that means is that we keep this value as 847,000, and we do not need any of the 137 because we put zeros as a placeholder. So we write 847,000. And again, since we're talking about thousands, friends, we're writing the next 1,000 on our number line. So the next 1,000 is 848,000. So again, with these larger numbers, here's the tricky part when we're trying to round. What is the value that's in the middle? So what would be in the middle of 847,000 and 848,000? It would be 847,500. So when we go back and we look at that number, we can see that we have hundreds here now, but what's in the middle is 500. So where does 847,137 belong on the number line? Before or after the midpoint? It's going to go before the midpoint, and I think it'll actually go probably about maybe like right here. Especially since this is 100. If this is 500, 100 is going to be much closer to that 7,000. So it looks like when we round 847,137 rounded to the nearest 1,000 is 847,000. So let's go ahead and type that one in the blank space as well. Also include the comma. So 847, comma, which is our 1,000. 1, 2, 3. All right, friends, just one more practice. I'm going to go ahead and actually give you 1 minute to set up your annotations from the question and your number line labeling those values. You may not finish rounding, which is totally okay. So again, 1 minute to set up those number lines and annotations from the question. Go to work. Okay, guys, welcome back after that 1 minute of practice. We are rounding 847,137 to the nearest 10 thousandths place. So when you labeled your number line, you should have 840,000 because the 4 represents 40,000. The next 10,000 is 850,000. The midpoint for this one was a little bit easier because I was trying to think of what was in between 840 and 850, and what's in between is 845,000. So then all I had to think is, where does 847,137 go? Is it after the midpoint or is it before the midpoint? Well, 847,137 is after the midpoint. Looks like it's closest to 850,000, which means, dun, 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 okay, 847,137 rounded to the nearest 10,000, 850. Yeah. When you type it in the blank space, you put 850, comma, 1, 2, 3 zeros, so it's 850,000. Incredible job this week on rounding, scholars. Go ahead and click next to finish your independent practice. You have 5 questions today. Truly should not take you more than 20-25 minutes. And if you have not completed any work this week, make sure you do that by Sunday night. Please make sure you do that. There are a lot of scholars who are trying to do their quizzes on Monday morning, and unfortunately, the quiz is already closed by that point. So try to have it all finished by Sunday night. So on Monday, you wake up refreshed and only have to worry about Monday's assignments. I'm going to keep it a secret for now. So you guys can go ahead and have a really good weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.